The world. The world and society are one. Just as the world keeps turning, society has a need to keep moving forward. The world is under constant change, and the world we know today is not the same of 10 years ago, and even less the one our grandparents and parents knew when they were young. Technology is not the only thing that is evolving incredibly fast. Ideologies are developing and being renewed constantly. Liberal thinking is vastly incrementing, and equality is closer than ever. Come along with us as we take a trip down memory lane.
This photo was taken in 1937, 2 years before the beginning of the World War II.
In 1937, my grandfather was born. Luckily for him, he only lived through 2 years of the Great Depression.
In 1939, my father's dad was born, just a few days after the Second World War started. His childhood took place during the war, and he lived all of the tension that took place in the Cold War and the Red Scare.
In 1961, my parents were born. In the same year, Compañía Nacional de Subsistencias Populares, el Instituto Nacional de Investigaciones Agrícolas y la Productora Nacional de Semillas were created.
In 1963, my father was born. 1 year before that, a reunion took place in Uruguay. There, Mexico decided not to vote in favor of the embargo against Cuba.
In 1966, my grandfather got married. In that same year, Allende got together with other 27 Latin American delegations and agreed to create the Organización Latinoamericana de Solidaridad, or OLAS for short.
1969. What a year it was. Neil Armstrong, the first man to walk on the moon. Also in this year, my father was born. President Diaz Ordaz assumes responsibility for the students' repression, and the first metro line is opened.
My parents were also born in 1969, so all the things that Luis mentioned occurred as well. 1 year later, Luis Echavarria became president. 18 years old became the new legal adult age, and the CONACYT was created. During this period, the Second Green Revolution was also taking place.
Meanwhile, in the sports in the United States in 1969, in the three most important sports, the champions of the Super Bowl, the World Series, and the NBA championship were the New York Jets, the New York Mets, and the Lakers, respectively. Also, my father was born. 42 years ago, in 1973, the Vietnam War finally ended. The first ever phone call was made, and the Twin Towers were built to later be destroyed in 2001. But more important, for me, my mother was born.
A little after, my mother was born. 1974. The same year that President Nixon withdrew the American troops from Vietnam. 1 year after, the device we all loved and used at one time was invented, the VHS.
My sister was born 27 years ago, in 1986. In that same year, a 7.5 earthquake struck Mexico City, which caused at least 5,000 deaths.
In 1992, my aunt died in an automobilistic incident. In the same year, Bosnia-Herzegovina declared the independence of Yugoslavia, and the European Parliament ratified of the majority of the Maastricht Treaty for the United Kingdom. The Super Nintendo Entertainment System (SNES) came out in 1991 to 1993.
Most of us were born in 1998. This same year, a war broke out in Kosovo and lasted until 1999.
In the year 2000, a new millennia started. At the same time, Mexico got a new party in power, PAN, promising democracy and progress with Vicente Fox as president. After more than 70 years of a perfect dictatorship imparted by the main party, PRI.
My sister was born in 2001. That same year, a massive event happened in the USA, 9/11, when Osama bin Laden, the leader of Al Qaeda, destroyed the Twin Towers in New York City and started the war between US and Iraq.
2006 was a very amazing and conflictive year. First, it was the narco war here in Culiacan. Then, the death sentence was prohibited in the Philippines. The Wii and the PlayStation were released. It was a coup d'etat in Thailand. The World Cup in Germany was won by Italy. Felipe Calderón was elected in Mexico to become the second ever PAN president after 82 years. Pluto stopped being a planet, and last but not least, my brother was born.
Thanks to this project, I realized how the history of the world impact in our daily life and through our family history.
While making this project, I did not only learn more about my family, I also was able to find and understand the context and the environment they grew and lived.
This project was interesting. Learning that some dates of my family are near of others really important world dates makes me ask, what is the limit of knowledge for a teen of my age? I want to learn more every day.
This project taught me that, while it may not be clear in plain sight, world events have influence in everyday life and normal people. Also, while we live normal, uneventful lives, big things are happening backstage.
This project opened my eyes to see everything that is happening in the world, while some of the most important dates for me and my family, and also how a so simple detail or a simple decision can change me and my family life.
Was. History is prone to repeat itself, and it will happen, whether it is in a worldwide affecting manner or as simple as you repeating your grandfather's history. As technology develops, the world will evolve faster and faster each time. Sadly, we as humans seem to love war and might not live much longer to see what lies ahead. The world is like a pot of boiling water. It is unstable, and things are constantly happening non-stop. We do not have control over most of these things. However, if we study the past, we will find situations similar to the one we might be facing. And thanks to history, we will know how to deal with it. And as Robert Kennedy once said, few will have the greatness to bend history itself, but each of us can work to change a small portion of events, and in the total of all those acts will be written in the history of this generation. Thank you, and this has been all.